This is a clouds weather alert.
Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back with you once again for a severe thunderstorm warning and played about 145 for parts of Clay, Duval, and St. Johns County. It's getting a gust to 46 miles an hour recently there at the Naval Air Station in Jacksonville. Some pretty strong winds going on up here on the radar at times as well in here. So just kind of interesting to see this accident potentially produce some gustier winds, maybe some damaging type winds to the surface, and we'll be watching all that for you, but also watching the stuff down toward Bradford and Clay counties. I mean, not warned here at the moment, but I know just looking at some different things here in the Weather Center, we had some pretty gusty winds east of Stark, not, again, necessarily severe in nature, but really kind of picking some things up there. And on my anemometer, my Davis Weather Station, we got a gust of 32 miles an hour at 103 here, so that's pretty high for where I'm at and based on the height and everything. So getting some stronger type of gust. Again, we gave you the heads up earlier on our live coverage about the stronger storms coming into Bradford County, not officially severe, but the reason we're back on is because to the north, this is officially severe now. For severe thunderstorm warning in play for parts of Clay, Duval, and St. Johns counties here until about 1:45. The severe thunderstorm located near Orange Park. They're moving east at about 30 miles an hour. That's another area that is near. And we have Orange Park, UNF, Mandarin, Fruit Cove, Ponte Vedra Beach, Jacks Beach, Sawgrass, Bay Meadows, Nocatee, and Ortega under this warning. So definitely intriguing here to watch things. In fact, I know we're watching that warning. We're watching the stuff to the south here as well. And I do have some other things that we can kind of keep our eyes on here in the Weather Center. I'm going to try to get a look outside here where we're at. East of Stark. The winds have calmed down a pretty good bit right now, only 7 miles an hour on the gust, but already 4/10 of an inch. But we'll go ahead and look here east of Stark on our camera here at this point, I think, to try to give you guys an idea of what's going on outside. You can definitely see the darker skies still out there, the windier conditions, not as much of a story at this point, though. Again, gust to 10 miles an hour now. As I looked at my anemometer earlier, we had a gust to 32, which, again, is pretty significant considering some of these other weather stations. Toward Keystone, only a gust to 23. Gainesville, only a gust to 20 here in the most recent observations. So definitely kind of getting some of that stronger wind here to come on in, just depending on exactly where you're at here. Just kind of intriguing to see. Again, just looking outside right now with that rain coming on down, already 4/10 of an inch here around Stark, and more of that coming on down right now here in Bradford County. Again, the worst, the wind kind of passing on by. As you can see that leading edge, that's where we really got the gusts from right around 1 o'clock there. You can see these higher pixels. Radar was showing winds closer to 50, not out of the question, right about where we're at. So, I mean, getting the gust to over 30 on an anemometer. And again, just continuing to watch things here. You can kind of see gust to 42 recently at Craig Municipal Airport there. Just kind of giving you guys an idea of what's going on. And they're telling us here in the chat, the strongest core of the winds within the severe thunderstorm warning approaching the I-95, 295, E-Town, US 1 interchanges with speeds between 50 and 60 miles an hour of possibility. So definitely intriguing to see that here this afternoon. We're just going to continue to watch. I'm not seeing a lot of lightning at this point. It's an odd situation in some regards, but again, a new severe thunderstorm warning in play here until about 1:45, so that's why we're on here, to keep you guys safe. Now, I know we've had some issues with our Facebook streams earlier on, so I'm going to just go ahead and pop this up. Just all the different outlets you can catch the stream on if we have some more issues with one of our streaming outlets, something like that. So you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have YouTube, you have Twitch there. Just some different outlets. The main Twitter account would be the one there at Cloud of Casey where you would get the stream app. But again, just trying to kind of give that information to you right now. Seeing in here Craig Airfield gust to 43 miles an hour, something that's we've seen. I know on here it says 42, but sometimes they're that little rounded issue, but not too big of a deal. Kind of gives you guys an idea of what we're talking about overall. But again, checking some different things behind the scenes right now here with this setup. I'm going to see if we can get some cameras, because we have some cameras in this area here, more populated area where there will be a lot of views of the situation here in what is going on with this severe thunderstorm warning that's in play, we might be able to get some pretty good views here. Hopefully, no accidents, but definitely a possibility here. I think we have had some accidents over the last little bit, maybe before the storms really came in, but still, just kind of adding to the nastiness of things here with the setup. So, just trying to give you guys an idea of what's going on with some of these cameras. I'll do that here in just a second. So, again, I'm going to try to go to I-95 south of Bowden Road. It looks like maybe we can try to get you a view there, and I can see kind of the nastier conditions that are ongoing here. So we'll go ahead and take our traffic source full now. You'll be able to kind of see what's going on. The wind not showing up as good on here, but again, I'm just trying to give you guys the visual on what's happening. Definitely a slick road to deal with here this afternoon. So again, it's a thunderstorm warning to 145 approach to Duval, Clay, and St. Johns counties here. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, a possibility within here. That's the reason the warning was issued, and the reason the warning continues to stay in effect as we continue to hear the rain come down outside where we're at here east of Stark. But again, looking at velocity, you see a little bit of wind enhancement at Fruit Cove, and they're saying the worst of this is near Bay Meadows or near Mandarin. I'm moving east at 35 miles an hour. So severe thunderstorm warning to 145 here for parts of Duval, Clay, and St. Johns counties here this afternoon. Again, with the squall line that's coming on through again. Didn't have any severe warnings officially toward Bradford, but we gave you the heads up talking about it earlier on. We were live on the air with you talking about that potential of some stronger gusts. And we got a gust here of 32 miles an hour on our anemometer at 103 east of Stark. So just kind of giving you guys that idea of what has been going on here. I know, looking at our velocities right now, I definitely can see some higher values in spots here. So we're just kind of checking to see if there's some good cameras to go to. It's kind of tricky here from time to time, but we're just continuing to monitor things here in the Weather Center as the situation does progress, because things can be a little bit nastier in moments and then less nasty in other moments here. Let's see what we have on this camera here, I-295 west at San Jose. We can try to say that's just kind of a nasty look outside right now, and maybe a little bit of the camera shaking here too, but we're not really seeing the trees shake. I know we just got a gust of 41 in Gainesville as well. So this is toward Jacksonville, and this is toward the Warren area, but toward Gainesville, a gust of 41 just reported. So that kind of tells the weather story. So just continuing to watch things here though in the Weather Center. We'll go ahead and zoom back on out. Continuing to watch this situation, you can see this accident pushing through Clay County, some stronger storms, but again, the severe warm storm is up toward areas here, Duval, Clay, and St. Johns until 145. So that's what we're on with you right now. Just kind of watching the accident here as it evolves here towards some of these more populated areas. We're talking about Orange Park, UNF, Mandarin, Fruit Cove, Ponte Vedra Beach, Jacks Beach, Sawgrass, Bay Meadows, Nocatee, and Durbin. So, again, I know we're watching this up to the south, some heavier rain. We had some gustier winds on the leading edge here. Really, the winds came right before that rain did, so kind of intriguing. And then you see toward areas here, toward Micanopy. You can kind of see a little bit of wind there, but again, the bigger gust a little earlier toward Gainesville Airport at 41 miles an hour, kind of probably with that pixel right there. That's about what we saw to the north. Some gustier winds there in that 30 to 40 range, I would say, as we kind of look things in the forward motion. So, again, just continuing to watch right now. You can see here, severe thunderstorm warning until 145 remaining in effect. Here impacting areas in Duval County, Clay County, and St. Johns counties here this afternoon. So just wanting to continue to watch that Doppler radar view and giving you the latest updates here to protect you, your friends, and your family. I know the focus on some of this accidents more because of the higher population density maybe, then some of these values don't look as impressive maybe as they did just a little while ago. That's part of it too. You can really see some of these pixels popping out. Not seeing that quite as much right now. We're going to keep the stream going while this warning's going. I'll be back here in about 9 minutes or so at more, unless we get like a tornado warning to pop up on us here. So again, continuing to watch things, continue to track things here in the Weather Center on this Wednesday afternoon. The end of November, last day of hurricane season. This doesn't have anything to do with that necessarily, but again, I'm just continuing to watch the weather scenario as it does evolve.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center at 1:35 on this Wednesday. Fifth thunderstorm warning remaining in effect about another 10 minutes for parts of Duval and St. Johns counties. They dropped out into Clay County portion of the warning. You see the warmer temperature to the south, the cooler to the north, as we've seen kind of that temperature contrast here as these storms have been evolving here across the region. They get gusts to 48 miles an hour there. Weather stem at the TIA Bank Field site at about 110. So not quite severe in nature, but still kind of nasty. So something to kind of keep in mind here as we're looking at some different things this afternoon. And then I was reading there, Colquitt County, looks like we had a brief tornado touchdown earlier around the Funston community, but not causing any damage. That's based on the reporting from the local storm report. So it's kind of interesting to see that. But again, watching this accident already, kind of the worst of it pushing on, and is already pushed through Stark at this point. So that's some good news. Didn't have any severe warnings for Bradford County. That's what we weren't on as we were watching the accident come through here. But we give you the heads up about it coming through here as we were getting into toward that 1 o'clock hour. But you can see here toward areas around Sawgrass. We're not seeing a big enhancement of wind there right now, so that's good. I mean, we're actually getting maybe some interesting enhancements, more interesting enhancements toward Putnam County, maybe some stronger gusts in there. It could be closer to 50 miles an hour with some of those brighter colors there. So we'll keep our eyes on the situation here in the Weather Center. Definitely watching things. I know we have another thunderstorm warning up toward Maryland there, Washington, as well as Clark counties up there. Just kind of giving you guys an idea of what's going on up in that vicinity as we get up from the Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C. office. So definitely interesting to kind of see that information up toward Hagerstown, Maryland, also getting into some of this nastier weather. But I know we're just going to continue to track the situation here. Let me go ahead and go on over right now to the broad perspective. You can see that warning actually up there, and then the warning down here, and then you see kind of some of the different wind direction changes here. It's kind of intriguing to see here in the grand scheme of things. So just kind of a different perspective on how things are here with the overall setup. Of course, we'll get back in a little bit tighter now. Just looking at some different things. I know I definitely had those stronger gusts come through here earlier in Bradford County, and then as we were looking back yesterday, that was so tragic. I mean, early this morning, actually, when we were tracking the storm there, we ended up having the fatalities in Montgomery County, Alabama. I hate seeing that. And we had a really strong tornado, it seemed to be, that was on the ground there north of Mobile by a pretty good ways, but in that vicinity, per se. Just seeing things right pop up in those nocturnal hours when people are asleep, really in the wee hours of the morning. I don't see that all that often, but when it does happen, it has a higher tendency to be deadly. So again, still watching things. You see some lightning there toward Keystone. I think I just heard that rumble of thunder here, actually where I'm at here east of Stark. Just kind of looking on the Doppler. I thought I heard a noise. I think that was the noise there southeast of Keystone, that rumble of thunder. So kind of interesting to see that. We haven't had any of that lightning right around Bradford in the last little bit that I've noticed. But we'll continue to watch things. At this point, I don't know if we need to go ahead and stay on because this warning will likely go away here soon. Just based on the indications I'm seeing on the Doppler radar. They've canceled Clay out already, but St. John's and Duval will be out soon. It's moving southeast at 30 with a severe thunderstorm over Bayard. So we'll just continue to watch things. The velocity signature just isn't impressive. They're probably not going to keep that warning here past the 145 benchmark. But we'll keep on watching things here in the Weather Center. If we get more warnings, we'll let you know that whether we need to come on like we did here because of a more populated area, or maybe just post about it, depending on what we kind of see within the radar echoes here this afternoon. Last day of hurricane season, but getting this accident here of severe weather to move on through in some parts of the area. I know we had some minor type of damage reported with the wind further off, especially towards southwest Georgia in our area, but nothing like what we saw with the tornadoes that were on the ground there with the tornado outbreak in Alabama and Mississippi that we'll need to keep everybody in our thoughts and prayers from. But I think that's going to go ahead and do it for now with this stream. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up because I don't think they're going to extend this warning here based on the velocity pattern, the wind pattern that I'm seeing here on the radar. So we need to come back on, we will, but otherwise we'll have a formal update tomorrow night on all the different platforms here. So as I hear more thunder, by the way, here it's dark now, so kind of interesting to hear that. But again, there's all the different platforms that we're on, and we'll have those updates for you here as necessary today, and or as we look ahead. I know we've had some issues with Facebook. Sorry about that, but not much I can do on that end. It seems like it's an issue on the streaming vendor side, but all the different platforms that we're on will be on as needed here in the Weather Center. But again, next form updates tomorrow night. We'll have the high school football forecast and some different things to look ahead to for the weekend as well. So thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me.